Okay. So what is the use of spectral representation? All those who have gone through this digital signal processing course must be knowing that by transforming it into the frequency domain, we can easily find out more information about the data set, and at the same time, we can denoise the data set. Okay. So this is the third type of representation, like you are having some time series data set. Suppose this is a sinusoidal curve, which we are saying that this is our time series data set, and if you want to represent it using symbols, okay, it is not temporal, it is not spectral, it is symbol based. Okay. Now suppose we are having three symbols. What we can do, we can actually divide this overall signal into different small blocks, same size block. Every block we are computing the average value. Then we are mapping it on the y-axis, where y-axis we have created different bands. Like if the value is from 0.5 to 1.5, we'll use symbol C. 0.5 to minus 0.5, we'll use symbol B, and below that we'll use symbol A. Okay. So now this overall time series signal will be converted into symbols, and that symbol will be CBCCBAAB. Okay, so that is the representation. So we have actually reduced the size from a bigger size to the smaller one using the symbols. Now suppose you are having 2 or 3 time series data set. If you want to find out the similarity, if you like to find out initially, if you are working with the time domain signal, you can directly compute using the Euclidean distance. But when you have converted it from the time series to the symbolic form, you should have some another method. Okay. So what we can use Jacobi. They suggested that instead of taking only the average value, we should take the minimum and maximum also in each and every block. Okay. So instead of representing only one symbol, we should have we should have 3 symbols in order to represent a particular block. Okay. So along with this, if we are having the min, average, and max, so for every block we should use 3 values, and this will be extended. So that is known as extended symbolic aggregation method. Okay. This is bag-of-word pattern representation model. If you want to find out the similarity between the documents or the time series model, we can work with this type of method. So I have already given the link. So this is you see there is a matrix, time series data matrix. So there are m time series data. So column wise it is time series data, and row wise we have used different representations. Okay. Different symbols, like we have used 3 symbols, A, B, C, if we are using 3 symbols. Okay. So these symbols, we can find out all the combinations of these symbols, and each and every document or time series data will find out the frequencies. Okay. So right hand side, if you see, there is a class 1 and class 2. There is a time series signal. You can apply this X. So you will get this symbolic representation of each block, and then each and every combination will find out the probability. You can create a probability table, and whenever new class comes, you can directly multiply the values to this probability matrix, and then you can get the maximum value, and that maximum value will represent the belongingness of that particular class. Okay. So you can go through this link and you can find out how exactly people have done. Difficulty. Okay, you should take this example. So left hand side, if you see, there is a data set sales record with respect to temperature, and we are saying that if temperature is increasing, the sales is also increasing. Okay, maybe this is a place of, suppose, Russian example. Okay, so if it is warmer, then more of the people will willing to go to the market and buy the things. Okay, but important point here in this particular example is, for a given value of temperature, you will only get a single value of sales. Okay. Now consider this second example, right hand side. This is the hysteresis curve. All of you must have seen this curve. So suppose this is the curve, and x-axis at suppose 0.1500, if you draw a vertical line. Okay. So if x is equal to 1500, what will be the value of y? Okay. And how can we get the value of y? We'll draw a vertical line, perpendicular line on x-axis, and that line will cut this graph in this particular example at 2 places, lower side and upper side. Okay. Then what does it mean? For a given value of x, you are getting 2 values of y. Okay. And that is the modeling difficulty with respect to time series, because for a given value of x, there can be multiple values of y. So that is the chaotic nature in the time series. You cannot predict the next value. Okay. In the left hand side, you can apply some regression method. You can get the formula. You can compute y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, or maybe the higher orders. In the right hand side, you can never get this type of formula where y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, why? Because there can be multiple y. So there can be y1, there can be y2, there can be y3. Okay, for a given value of x, and that is the complexity with respect to time series. Okay, what we can do? How to model it? Okay, so we should x and y value will not be sufficient for modeling this type of data. Okay, we'll see how to do this. Now suppose left hand side there is a data set, so some temperature value suppose, or some value with respect to time we have actually taken. This is the raw data set. Okay, what we can add? We can add the history. Okay, for 1500, if we are knowing that we are at the lower side of this curve, then this y1, lower y1 value will be there. If at 1500 up to that moment you were having the upper side values up till that moment, then you can predict the upper y2 value. Okay, so what does it mean? This data, if we are adding history to this data set, then it will become more useful in order to predict the future values. So how to add the history into the data set when we are having only single dimension data? So this is the data set. Now you see the matrix which I have created in the middle part. Okay, so data set I have copied. Then one step ahead, one row above I have copied it, two row above I have copied it, three row above I have copied it. Okay, now you see 1.87, 3.1, 0.99 and 3.93, then 3.1. Now you can see the behavior. So this yellow portion I will cut down from this, and that will become my data set where I have introduced the history up to the previous 3 points, maybe the previous 3 days, maybe the previous 3 months, maybe the previous 3 years. Okay, so this is up to you how to create this history from the data set, okay, as per your problem. So now this is the first 3-day data, and the last day we will consider that this is the output. Okay, the first 3 day, next 4th day is the output, second 3 day, 5th day is the output, next 3 day, and so on. Okay, so now if we have to model it using regression formula, what we'll do? We can have x1, x2, x3 and x and y. Okay, so y will be function of x1, x2, x3. You can find out the formula and you can predict. Okay, so what do we want to do with the time series data sets? We can do the clustering, we can do the classifications, like there is a normal heartbeat, there is some probable problem there with the person. Okay, there can be a motive discovery, maybe the recession, we can find out which year there was a recession. Okay, the similarity will be repeated in future. Then rule discovery, you can find out. Query by content, you are having the small amount of information content and then you can query it. And you can do the visualization. Visualization is always very important. Then novelty detection, if something novel is there or not. This novelty can also be helpful in identify the problems. Okay, so why this time series data set, why time series modeling, every one of us is talking about. So this is last 24-month trend for this particular time series database management system. Okay, this is up to July 2021. Okay, up to this month only. So you see that time series database management system is gaining much of the popularity. You see the blue color curve. Okay, then the other values are there: database, multivariate, multi-value databases, graph database management system. Okay, object-oriented database management system. But this time series database management system is gaining much of the popularity. Okay, so this is the website from where I have taken this. You can go through. Now you see there are multiple number of database management systems that can handle this time series. Okay, so InfluxDB, KDB do the pest control. Okay, then you can actually have multiple type of sensors, maybe for maybe the crop yield analysis. You are monitoring the field with respect to time, whether you are getting up to certain level of crop or not. Okay, then different attacks are there. You see the right hand side, this was the popular example everywhere. You can see in India and abroad also this type of statues. So in place of this, you can actually install some cameras and you can have the intelligence system that will monitor for locust, bird, animals. Okay, and then they can play the huge amount of siren or loud volume sound so that all these can run away. Okay. Coming to the smart home examples, every one of us are using smart lights. Okay, and maybe the Alexa or the Google Mini. Okay, so these are very important and very useful devices these days people are using. Then we can have in the concept of smart home, security and surveillance. All of us, most of you must be having these cameras installed. Okay, so they can actually then the temperature control everywhere. These days, these air conditions are also coming that can actually adjust the temperature with respect to the environment temperature. Health and wellness is there, elderly care is there, security and surveillance cameras are there which can actually monitor, like this is the odd timing if somebody is there and the face is not matching with the database, so it means that the person may be a suspect. Okay, suppose 12 to 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so it can actually trigger the alarm to the owner that some new person is visiting or is nearby your house. Okay, then smart lighting, many real-time alerts, remote control, automation, all these things are there. Okay, so this is the example of time series data, because with respect to time you are monitoring the things. Okay, now this is the case of elderly care. Okay, in India it is also gaining the popularity, lots of people are doing research on this. Now you see, but at abroad, European countries, people are using this type of thing. So the person is wearing the computer, so that is the wearable device, and this wearable clothes will have multiple sensors. Okay, like SpO2 monitor, glucose meter monitor, then the blood pressure, then the EEG monitor, temperature sensors. Okay, so there are multiple sensors. They are there in the wearables, and the elderly person has wear that particular wearable, and then these particular sensor will automatically monitor the health of a person, and they will predict for maybe the possible attacks. Okay, so if there is going to be some attack taking place, in this particular wearable will send the information to the central place or the relative of the person, or to the ambulance or to the physician, like the person is going to get the attack. Okay, then automatically people will take care of about the person. Okay, so this is very nice example where multiple sensors are there, and all the sensors are working with respect to time, collecting the data with respect to time, and you have to make decision based on multiple sensors values. So that is the very good example of multivariate time series data. Okay, so multiple sensors, based on that you have to make the decision whether person is going to get attack or not. Okay, this is the case of smart cities. So traffic management, water management, energy control, analytics, smart parking, emergency system, pollution control. Okay, so everywhere this time series examples are there. It will monitor with respect to time the pollution level in a particular location. Okay, then they can actually steady control so that the traffic diversion can be possible. Okay, if some huge traffic is there in a particular road, it will send the information to the user so that they can take the alternative routes. Okay, this was the example of Taute Chakravat. So when it was hit at the coastal areas, then also people have predicted based on time series that the UP will also be affected. Okay, this is the example of Tesla cars. So that is the unmanned vehicle. It can move from one place to another place without a driver. Okay, so there are multiple sensors. They are continuously monitoring or making decision with respect to environmental variable, with respect to time, so that it can move from one point to another point. Okay, so all these examples I have taken from the internet. Okay, so you can go through the website I have already mentioned below. This is the example of connected cows. This is very nice example. So Fujitsu has developed this device that is known as EDSC, stress detection system for cattle. So that is wearable for cows, horse, and any other animal, any other cattle. So what is farmer's dilemma? So if some farmer is having multiple cows in the farmhouse, and then if a particular cow is in the stress period, the farmer is not able to understand. Okay, what is the stress period? The stress period is the heating period. During that time the cow can get pregnant. Okay, so farmer has to bring that cow for the artificial insemination, and so that the cow can get pregnant. Okay, so now Fujitsu has developed this device. So Microsoft has also given the solution and they have connected this overall system with their cloud, and then they are making the real-time messaging and other decision making. So this stress detection system is actually is a device, small device. You can see how a cow can wear it. Okay, you can put it on the leg of the cow, and it is actually working like a pedometer. So it is counting the number of footsteps with respect to time. Okay, and continuously it has been observed that in the cow, out of 21 days, only 12 to 16 hours the cow is in the stress period, and that too during the night time. Okay, and many times the farmer is depressed and they are not able to produce more number of cattle. Okay, so they have found that after installing this device on the leg, they can easily detect the footstep, and they can bring the cow to for the artificial insemination. And they have also identified that if first half they are going for the artificial insemination, they are getting the female, and next half they are getting the male. Okay, so that is also very useful based on this device, that they can predict the gender of a child of this particular cow. In the case of horses, this stress duration is 3 to 4 days, so it is very easy for them, but for the cattle it is very difficult. They have also find out that based on this wearable device, they can identify from 8 to 10 type of diseases existing in a particular cow. Okay, so this is very useful system, and they are getting much of financial gains. Okay, this is another example of AI toothbrush. Okay, I have taken from the internet. This is from Oral-B, so it is not like I am promoting Oral-B. This is just example I have taken. Okay, because they were having this video, so I have taken this. AI toothbrush. Okay, so everywhere you can see AI. Recognize your brushing style. Protect your gums, because you will not put more pressure. You can connect this toothbrush with your mobile phone. Same setup you can use for charging the mobile phone and the device. Identify the pressure level. Okay, you can identify daily where you have not brushed properly. Okay, and how it is working based on time series. Okay, so there are multiple examples. You can see that this time series everywhere. You can actually see this example. Okay, so these industrial applications, if this is the case of ONGC gas pipeline explosion in Gujarat, so many people were died. And if the manufacturing unit, we can have this type of sensors, we can collect the data, time series data, power utilities, oil and gases, mining, water treatment. Okay, so we can safeguard many things. So this ONGC gas pipeline explosion was held. So if people were using the sensors and they were continuously monitoring it with respect to time, then we could have saved many lives. Okay, this is the example of classification. Okay, I have said that we'll take some example of classification also. So these are some of the leaves. Okay, the below you can find out the address, from where you can find out the codes, how to convert this leaf into the time series data. You can see right hand side. Okay, like you are having the sweet neem tree leaf, and there is a normal neem tree leaf. Okay, so they look like very much similar. So one is known as curry patta, people are using it. You can find out the differences using the machine learning algorithm. Okay, you see how we can convert these images into time series signal, and then we can find out similarity and dissimilarity. Okay, this is an example. This is the project which we did for TVS Motor Company long back, 10-12 years back. You see there is a engine. TVS Motor manufactures multiple motorcycles, scooters. Okay, so they used to test these engines. So earlier what happened, there were operators, they were testing the quality of the engine before integrating with the overall system. Okay, so what they were doing, they were listening the sound of this engine, and then based on the sound, they were predicting whether it is good engine or not good engine. Okay, then they approached us, and then we developed our system. And now you see we have used 4 microphones, and then we were having the data acquisition card so that we can capture it, and then we can process, and we can predict the quality of the engine. Okay, so this was the test rig. It is normally at the manufacturing unit. They have also sent this to our lab, and then we have developed the overall system, and now they are using it their industry. Okay, so this is the test rig. You can put the engine on this, and there are multiple sensors. We can collect the data set, and then our algorithm that is based on time series learning algorithm, they can predict whether a particular engine is good or not good. And what we were predicting, if the engine is not good, then what is the type of fault in that engine? Okay, so we have predicted multiple type of fault like cam chain noise, primary gear damage, magnetorotor noise, cam chain noise, primary gear whines, tappet noise, and other noise. And at the same time, we have also told them that there are good engines and there are very good engines. Then they realize that there are multiple users. They are claiming that if the company is claiming these particular bike will get 70 kilometer per liter, and then some of the customers, they are reporting that they are getting 80 kilometers per liter. Okay, so this project they have declared as one of the best project ever implemented by TVS Motor Company. So they were very happy, and in 1.5 year we have developed this solution, and all things are automated, so they are using it. So at the manufacturing time, what they are doing it, they are predicting the health of the engine, and then if there are some fault, they are rectifying it. Otherwise, what happened? These faults were going to the customers, and then customers, they were reporting, claiming back, and then they have to invest lots of money in order to investigate the overall thing. Okay, and then at the same time, because of people were actually communicating that this particular bike is having problem, so others were not purchasing the bikes. Okay, so now these type of problems are solved, so they are getting very good bikes without any fault. This is another example of Panna National Park which we did. So recently you must have seen there is a movie Sherni on the Amazon Prime, I hope. So they have also referred this particular project. Okay, so Panna project. So what was the problem? There were poachers. They used to get inside the forest and used to kill the animals, especially the tigers. They were selling it. They were killing multiple animals. Okay, they were cutting the trees. Okay, so there were multiple problems they were facing. So this problem we solved for them. And Ohio State University, so NSF USA has also funded this particular project. It was a huge project. Multiple MTech and PhD thesis students have done on this. So what we did, we have deployed the electronic moat all around this particular forest. Okay, and these electronic moats were separated at the distance of around 200 meters, because that is the distance we are getting very good connectivity. And if there is a gunshot in the forest, we can actually detect that there is a gunshot in the forest. And at the same time, we were also predicting the exact location where this gunshot has taken place. Okay, so if there is a gunshot, automatically information will go to the guard station, and guard will immediately go to that particular location and will catch the particular poachers. At the same time, we have also developed one indigenous technology. You can see there is a village, there is a forest, and in between you can see there is a red line, S to D. Okay, so that is based on the fiber optic cable. Again, the time series example. Okay, so this is like acting like a virtual fence. So if some animal is moving from the forest to the villages, we can detect. And if some villagers are moving from the forest to the forest, then we can also detect. Okay, and at the same time, if some animals are crossing, we can also predict, like this is elephant, this is tiger, this is leopard, or some small animal. Okay, so both ways it is dangerous, because some animals is going inside the village, they used to kill the humans, and if humans are going inside the forest, they used to kill the animals. Okay, so soil digging, firing gun, felling trees, movement of vehicles, all these type of problem we have find out. So this, you can see the spectrum, like rifle in open ground is like something else behavior, rifle near the water flow we are getting for different types of similarities are philosophical questions. So it is not an easy task to find out the similarity between two things. Similarly, for time series data set, we can find out similarity at the shape level. If they are looking like similar shape, then we can say that they are similar, or similarity at the structure level. Okay, histogram matching or maybe something else. Okay, So sometimes what happen, shape level, they are not looking like a similar, but actually they are similar. Shape level, they are looking like very much similar, but actually they are not similar. So multiple problems are there. Whenever we talk about similarity, we always talk about distance, because similarity and distance have a very good relationship. So similarity is equal to 1 minus distance. Okay. The less the distance, more the similar. Okay. So this is the case of hierarchical clustering with Euclidean distance. So if we work with the standard Euclidean distance, all of you must be knowing what is the formula for Euclidean distance. And if we cluster them using the hierarchical clustering, we'll get this type of cluster. You see, there are multiple colors we have used, but they are not coming together. Okay. You can see the green at different cluster, okay, and so on. But when we use dynamic time warping, then if again we are doing the same thing, hierarchical clustering, then you can see we can get a very good clusters. Okay. So this is one way. We have used dynamic time warping, and then we have clustered the signal, and now we are getting very good clusters. Okay. This was the COVID-19 analysis. In some presentation I was presenting on 8th June. So this was the data for multiple countries, United States, India. Okay. You see that there are different curves: cases cumulative total, cases newly reported in last 24 hours, deaths cumulative total, deaths newly reported, and transmission classification. Okay. After seeing these graphs, the cumulative total cases, and if you see the transmission classification, there were multiple type of classification, like cluster of cases or community transmission. Okay. The graph, the time series graph, if you see, they are looking like similar, but the classification was different. Okay. What is the reason why this is happening? Because of the visualization. Okay. Like I have earlier said, that if you are plotting two time series signal, they are looking like very similar, but still they can have the dissimilarity. They can find out the correlation. Okay. And mathematician says that if correlation is very good, then they are very much similar, or we can get more information if we are having information about one signal. Okay. Then this concept of spurious correlation is always there, which says that mathematically you are getting very good correlation, but actually physically they were not having any relationship. Okay. Like if you are having two data set, one is the birth rate of monkeys and one is birth rate of donkeys, and if concept was given, two sine curves differing by a quarter period in phase and uncorrelated when the correlation is taken over a whole period. Okay. So why do we sometimes get nonsense correlation between time series? We sometimes use this term nonsense correlation also. I study in sampling and the nature of time series. Okay, you can go through this. We can also apply this concept of correlation in order to identify the similarities, and if you want to study the behavior of time series. So this is the data set of different cities or different states in India. You can see there are they look like very much similar, but actually if you perform multiple analysis, mathematical analysis, analytical analysis on this, you will find out that which state is performing better as compared to others. Okay. Now coming back to the same slide which I have shown you long back, like we can add the history to the data set, and at that time I have said that you can use the regression method in order to model this type of data set, where in this particular case we can have the 3 x1, x2, x3 as the input and y is the output. Okay. And this particular FDP is on the machine learning, so we should also talk about some machine learning things. Okay. So how to model using machine learning of family of backpropagation algorithm, which you can actually use in order to train this model. Okay. And then different type of activation functions you can select, aggregation functions you can select, and now this era of deep learning have come. So definitely whatever you can do with the ANN, you can also perform in a better way using deep learning. We'll see what is the cause. So what is deep learning? You have already gone through this course on deep learning in this FDP. So deep learning is a part of broader family of machine learning method based on feature representation of data. There are a number of ways that the field of deep learning has been characterized. Deep learning is a class of machine learning algorithms that use a cascade of many layers of non-linear processing units for feature extraction and transformation. So earlier what we were doing in this case of neural network model, ANN model, we were separately doing the pre-processing. making our data as a best quality data, and then those features or that best quality data we were giving to this neural network architecture in order to do the training and prediction. Okay. Now what we are doing in the case of deep learning, we are doing this pre-processing or feature extraction at the same time along with this learning. Okay. They are based on unsupervised learning of multiple levels of feature or representation of data. Higher level features are derived from the lower level feature to form a hierarchical representation. Learn multiple level of representation that correspond to different level of abstractions, the level from the hierarchy of concept. Okay, so what is this? We'll see. If you Google it, like what are deep learning application in 2021, you'll find out this image. So self-driving cars, entertainment, visual recognition, virtual assistant, fraud detection, natural language processing, news aggregation, fraud news, pixel restoration, photo description, colorization of movie, black and white images. Okay, so Mughal-e-Azam, when they have colored from black and white to color images, then at that time I was working at IIT Kanpur, they visited our lab, the G education group. And they have said that they have invested huge amount of money in coloring this Mughal-e-Azam. Okay, and then we at that time we have provided them a solution that automatically how can you can color different frames, because frame by frame they have colored the Mughal-e-Azam. Okay, so there are multiple enormous application of deep learning, and that's why this deep learning is very much popular. So we'll see what is the strength of deep learning, how we can transform from machine learning to deep learning in order to model this time series. So there is a concept of convolution. So when I have discussed this fast Fourier transformation for converting the time domain signal to frequency domain, we can actually perform this convolution also. Okay, what is convolution? You have an image matrix, there is a filter of size 3x3, and there is a specific property of this filter. Okay, and we have to put on 3x3, and then we have to slide this window throughout on the image, and then we can get the aggregated value. Okay, like these are the example, like horizontal lines. If we want to extract horizontal line from any image, then we'll use this first filter. If we want to extract the vertical lines, then we can use the second filter. Now you see the property. The center line is having two amplitude, upper and lower side is having -1, the lower value. It means enhance the middle one, suppress the side one. What you'll get? The horizontal lines. Second one, enhance the middle vertical line, suppress the left and right hand side. This is diagonal 45 degree, this is 135 degree diagonal, so you'll get all kind of angles, features, lines and everything. Okay, and this is the example of horizontal lines from this central image. If you apply this horizontal line filter, if you'll convolve it, you will get the right hand side. Okay, so this is the original image. You can pixelize the image, you can apply different filters. Okay, now instead of using 4 filters, you can have suppose 50 filters. Okay, so different directions you will get different values, and then after getting those, applying those filters, what you are doing, you are actually scaling up the data set. Then you should scale down the data set by using some functions like max pooling. Okay, so that the data size can also be reduced at the same time, and then you can actually do the further training process using the machine learning algorithm, which we have already seen. So this was our paper in 2020 for CNN architecture for modeling the time series data set. So we have the input matrix of time series data. If you will go through this paper, you'll find out the novel way how we have converted this time series data into the matrix form. Then we can have the feature extraction block. So this feature extraction block is very important in the case of deep learning, and that's what is the added part to this machine learning. So there is nothing new in the deep learning, but this feature extraction part, and at the same time you are doing the learning. Feature extraction, learning, feature extraction, learning, you are doing it continuously, so you are getting the better results. Okay, the max pooling layer, dropout layer, so dropping out, we can drop out some of the layers, some of the neurons also. Okay, so that overfitting is not possible in that case. And then fully connected network. Okay, then we apply it on this spikes generates, or spike train generates from one neuron to another neuron, and then there is a processing happens in our human brain. So instead of adding this feature extraction and the classification, we have added one more spike encoding part in this particular architecture, and at the same time we have also added the concept of cyclical learning rate. Because what happened in the machine learning, if you have selected a large learning rate, okay, then what will happen? You can actually, from the optimal solution, you are moving out. Okay, you are not reaching to the solution, and if you are coming back to that solution, you are again moving out. Okay, so this is known as Brownian motion around the solution. Okay, and if you are suppose selecting a very small learning rate, then what happen? You are taking very much time, huge amount of time in order to reach to the solution. Okay, and this cyclical learning rate model says that you can have a large size of learning rate initially, then you can reduce the small size, and if required, you can again take the larger size. Okay, so in this model, what we have observed, and these are 22 filters which we have applied, and you see at each and every filter, you are getting different type of responses. Okay, and that's what is the strength. And we have used soft, leaky integrate and fire neuron for this spiking neural network. Okay, and this was the comparison of epochs and accuracy which we were getting. So we got very good accuracy. So this is cyclical learning weights approach, and without the cyclical learning rate epoch, without cyclical learning rate accuracy, and with cyclical learning rate accuracy. So you can see there are multiple things. Left hand side and right hand side. Left hand side is the epoch, right hand side is the accuracy, and bottom is the data set. Okay, and you see that almost all the cases except this face all and faces UCR data, we are getting best result as compared to all other existing best benchmark algorithm as well as the data set. Okay, so these two data sets is still there is a scope. Some of you can work on these data set. Okay, these are some of the comparison. Then we have compared with the multivariate data sets. Okay, so multivariate time series data set, that is also available on UCR. Okay, and we have found that multiple cases we are getting very good result. In some of the cases, some another algorithms are getting good results. Okay, so what are the major concerns? Like feature extraction is a major concern. Lots of dimensional tree data leading to the big data is a concern. Fusion integration complexity, because everywhere you are putting the sensor, you have to integrate the data and then you have to make the decision. Suppose multiple sensors have failed, then what will happen? Okay, real-time decision making, control and forecasting is the need of the hour. Modeling in distributed environment and prediction in real time is the need of the hour. Okay, because you should be able to model in the distributed environment, and at the same time you should try to find out some compression algorithm also, because you cannot store all the data at one place. Security and privacy is always a major concern, because you are suppose deploying the cameras, sensors. Okay, so somebody else can hack. Okay, so this is also coming along with this time series data. So this is the summary of today's this discussion, that is the time series signals are everywhere. To all classical approaches, there are machine learning alternatives also. Okay, so like we were doing the denoising, when we are using the fast Fourier transformation, then taking the moving average, and then again coming back to the time domain signal, then we were finding out that the original image is now having less noise as compared to the original signal. Okay, and the similar thing which we are doing using the machine learning approaches, where we are applying the convolution and we are doing the real life things. Okay, so what is the advantage we are getting using machine learning? It is adopting based on the data set. It is not like fixed model and you are converting in the spectral domain, taking the moving average and getting the result. So it is adapting from the data set